Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fate Grand Order video. What are we going to be talking about today? Well, today we're going to be talking about Destiny Order, which is one of two upcoming GSSRs coming to the game with the 9th anniversary. And it's also me figuring out my specific lineup in the Destiny Order. So that's going to be today's video. I hope you like it. If you do, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you plan to summon on Destiny Order, and if you do, what's your specific lineup? Do you usually try and figure out what you're going to be going for the Lucky Bag first? I would be curious how many people do Destiny Order and then Lucky Bag. I think I typically do Lucky Bag first and then Destiny Order. Usually, I think that's the way I like to go about it. So let's begin. So first things first, let's explain some stuff about Destiny Order in case you're brand new to the game. So Destiny Order is a form of a GSSR. It's one of two, the other one being Lucky Bag. I haven't done a video on Lucky Bag yet, but it should be coming a little bit, hopefully before the end of the week, before the anniversary comes up for sure. But I'm doing my write-up on it right now. So if you're wondering, hey, help me out with the Lucky Bag, that's coming eventually. This Destiny Order is a little bit easier to talk about because a lot of Destiny Order is specifically picking the units. So a lot of the times, if you need help on it, the answer is you should pick the units that you want the most. But if you're looking for what the best one is, I'll probably mention them as I go over them to try and figure out my own in this specific instance. That's the way I always feel is the best way to do Destiny Order, especially since Destiny Order is literally, it's like building your own sandwich. You make the sandwich. If you don't agree with the specific ingredient, that's okay. You can just literally remove it. It should be a GSSR in which you are 100% satisfied with whatever option you pick. And if for some reason you pick something that you're not happy with, that's crazy because you literally made it yourself. But anyway, Destiny Order, in terms of the summon mechanics, it's coming with the 9th anniversary. When is the 9th anniversary? As of the release of this video, which is going to be on a Tuesday, it's about, let's see, a week, 8, 9, 10, 11 days away, because our anniversary should be on the 4th of July, which coincides with the Anime Expo panel, live stream, whatever thing they do every year for Anime Expo for it. So some things to know about Destiny Order is, 1, Destiny Order only takes premium Saint Quartz. Both it and Lucky Bag require you to actually spend on the game, so if you're free to play, there is zero way for you to summon on this. If you're free to play, you should stop watching the video. I'm sorry it took me like 2 minutes for me to say this to you, but you can literally never do this if you're free to play. Feel free to leave it. If you don't want to spend money, especially with how things are nowadays, I completely understand it, and you can leave this video forever gone. It actively hurts my channel for me to tell you to leave, but I would rather you not be tempted. But if you continue to watch even though you don't spend on the game, just know I thank you very much, and I appreciate it a whole bunch. In terms of the summon mechanics, again, going over them, you choose 9 5-star servants that make up the guaranteed pool, where only 1 random servant out of the 9 are chosen in terms of guaranteed. This can only be done 1 time, and the banner disappears from the list after the summoning process. Now, I mentioned this every single time because it happened exactly once on JP, I think. And it never happened with Destiny Order, but it did happen with the Lucky Bag. But there's been 1 instance in the game where GSSR did not disappear after you did it, and it was a bug. So if you do your summon and you see that it's still there, I would immediately start summoning, because the people on JP who saw that their Lucky Bag did not disappear after they did it once, they kept doing it, and since it was paid Saint Quartz, they were like, it's fine. You get to keep your SSRs, and I guess the bug is gone. No one can exploit it. Quite a difference from when they did it when there was money on the line compared to that. How times change in some instances. Some other notes to talk about it since they've left them here. Berserker is not available to be selected as one of the 9 servants for the guaranteed SSR pool, because obviously Space Erishkigal is the actual banner unit for the 9th anniversary. You literally would not put him in the Destiny Order for that reason specifically. Players can only pick 1 servant for each slot, divided by the 7 main classes, extra 1 and extra 2. Players must fill up all 9 slots before they are able to move on to the summoning process. Out of the 11 summons, only 1 of the selected 9 servants will be guaranteed. For the remainder 10 summons, any summonable servant among limited, story-locked, or permanent servants besides Spacer Skull will be summoned. So basically, if you get 2 SSRs in this, the second one is going to be basically, really is a random-ass bag of whoever it could be. For 4-stars and 3-star servants, any summonable servants among limited, story-locked, or permanent servants are summonable as well. Reward-only servants such as Artoria, Pendragon Lily, Saber Lily, or Hobbitrot are not summonable through this banner. This is how the summon flow kind of looks like. So you choose a servant that you wish to include into the guaranteed summoning pool. You may also filter based off of NP level, unlock status, or limited story locked permanents. And then once you are satisfied with your picks, tap the bottom right button on the confirm your choices, then press the right button and the pop-up that appears afterwards till you reach the summoning animation. Pretty straightforward. Pretty easy to understand. The main big thing here is obviously what is included in Extra 1 and Extra 2, but that's why we're going to be taking a look. Hey everyone, Future Wookie here, just cutting in real quick because I need to bring something up real quick. I did not bring up the 30 million downloads campaign until way later, but this is something important to keep in mind when you are selecting your people, because most years when we do Destiny Order, there's not a way to get a unit for free later on in the year, but this year there actually is. So when this comes out, which is going to be early October to late September, it's going to give you a ticket that's going to have a selector SSR, and you can choose one of these units on it. So if one of the units on here that you would potentially pick for Destiny Order is also on this ticket, unless you want multiple NP copies or you're crazy like me and you want more copies of Quets, probably not a good idea to pick one of them for your Destiny Order. At the end of the day, it's still your Destiny Order to pick, but I should have brought this up much earlier. You'll see why I'm bringing this up now, but I do eventually figure it out. I'm just bringing this up right now before it gets to the point where someone 20 minutes of the video goes like, how come you're not bringing up the 30 million downloads in the way that you're going to be able to get this guy for free later on? You should not pick him for Destiny Order. And then about 20 minutes after you type that, I then go, wait a minute, the 30 million downloads campaign. God, my voice is dead. You can tell because I was recording for such a long time. Sorry about that. And now let's get back into the actual video. Start from there, past Wookie. Go ahead. So here we go. All right, so let me figure out what I need for Sabers. This one's an interesting choice. So if again, I do want to help anyone who kind of wants to pick whatever. If you're someone who's coming into this blind, obviously my things are always going to be, hey, pick whichever Saber you like the most. But I think in terms of the best Saber, I think it's probably Yamato here. If I was going to take a guess here and say which one it is. Actually, you know what's a really good question on this one? Are we gonna have, I guess this is where we're gonna learn if we're gonna include Richard into our Destiny Order, because one thing that's different from our version compared to the Japanese is that by this point in time, Japan did not have Richard. So maybe Richard is someone who's going to be picked on Saber. I don't know. This is like Schrodinger's selection pool. I don't know if Richard's going to be in this banner until the 9th anniversary comes out. But if you're someone who's looking for Richard, this might be one of the places where he could be. But if he's not, I would suggest probably getting another backup on here. So I would probably suggest, out of these, I'd probably suggest Yamato. There are some really nice choices here. I think for the ones I would pick, I think I'm currently thinking between Yamato and Saber Shiki, because I already have the other one. I could go for is Bride Nero, only because I already have her, I think, at like NP3, so I would just be getting additional copies. In terms of the units I'm actually missing from here is Daisuke, I'm missing Okita, I'm missing Void Shiki, I'm missing Muramasa, not Muramasa, Musashi and Muramasa I'm actually both missing. I'm missing Sigurd, I'm missing Man Arthur, I'm missing Astolfo, I'm missing Saber Okita, I'm missing the Trung sisters, and that's basically it. I really, who am I calling? Who here calls to me the most? I feel like it's probably gonna end up being Bride Nero, maybe. It's between Bride Nero and Yamato. Or Richard, honestly, if I could get an MP2 copy of him. I usually try and go for a new unit, though. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with Yamato so I can at least say I got a new unit. So for this one, it's like, it's not a definitive locked in, but it's definitely like I've put a signature in here. I guess a signature is actually left for legal documents. Leaving your signature is a pretty definitive. I'm putting it on here. I'm putting it on the itinerary. I'm thinking Yamato. That's kind of where I'm headed for on here. I think I'm gonna go for Yamato, especially since I could I think I could use an AoE Saber for arts. I think, yeah, I'll go with Yamato. It's either gonna likely be between Yamato or Bride Nero, but for right now I'm gonna say Yamato. Okay, moving on to Archer for next selection. Let's see, who am I missing from here? I'm missing Orion. I'm missing Minamoto no Tamatoma. I'm missing Tesla, Gilgamesh. I'm missing Moriarty. I'm missing Takatsuji. And I'm missing Durga. And I'm missing Summer Jean. So let me see. Out of this one, if I were gonna suggest a new player who's new to the game and said like, hey, which one of these would you suggest picking, I would really lean towards Telemaeus over here. But then I also understand if you are a fan of Fate, the call of Gilgamesh is pretty damn strong. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, I can understand going Gilgamesh. I think for my personal things, it'd actually be Telemaeus. And funny enough, as much as I'd like, would really like Takatsuji just because I'm a big fan of Gintama and I love Takatsuji and Gintama. Absolutely amazing character there. I feel like I want to get Telemaeus because I would love to get more NP copies of Telemaeus because he's just such an amazing unit. Since he has two Buster types, he has Buster and Arts. And I've been using both sides. And both sides have been really good. The other one I could also potentially think of is maybe Durga, but the problem is that I would never act. Durga is definitely a pick of, I picked Durga because I like the look of Durga, but I would probably never use Durga over Telemaeus because I also really love Telemaeus' character and his AoE NP as well, and they both kind of share the same they're both AoE arts NPs, so I definitely lean more towards Telemaeus on this one. So okay, so for Archer, I'm gonna say Telemaeus here, and for if you're a newer person, I would also say probably between Gilgamesh and Telemaeus. Though again, I really want to emphasize this. I will always be down for saying pick whoever you want for all these slots. So always pick the unit that you think is gonna make you the happiest if you get them. If I'm gonna be pretty damn happy if I get Telemaeus in this instance. And now we'll move over to Lancer. Let's see, who am I missing from Lancer? So I'm missing, funny enough, Vitra over here from the Story Locked. I'm missing Bhima, and I'm missing who else here? Brynhilde from the Limiteds. Summer Tamamo. I'm missing Romulus Quernus. I'm missing, yeah, and that's it. There's basically all. I have a decent bit of them here. So here's the thing, I really do want Vitra. I just don't know if I want Vitra enough to be like, so the hardest thing is, so I really do like it that they let you pick from non-limited servants, because if there's a non-limited that you really like, this is a good way to guarantee them. I know for some people it would be like, that's really a big waste, because you should at least pick something that you're not guaranteed to get randomly off a multi, like a Story Locked or a limited. But here's my train of thought and my thought process on this. If you really, really, really love a unit, like for example Karna, I had a buddy of mine who used to play the game. He doesn't anymore, which is gonna explain when I say this, but he was fiending for Karna. He kept trying for Karna. He would like spend, this is before there was pity on banners, like I want to say like easily 1,000 Sank Quartz on his banners, and was never able to get Karna even when he was fucking featured on them. Until one day he just eventually randomly got Karna. But even then, until then, he kept trying for Karna no matter what. Even if there was a chance of him in a GSSR pool, he would go for it because he kept going for Karna. But it took him years to eventually get his man. So for that reason, I think if you have that much love for a character, then you should definitely look into picking them for the Destiny order. Again, from the outside looking in, it's like a sandwich, right? If I see an ingredient on that sandwich that I'm like, I don't vibe with that ingredient, that's fine. Mind my own fucking business. This isn't my Destiny order. I'm not summoning on it. Mind your own fucking business. I picked Karna, he's in the sandwich. Hopefully the sandwich metaphor is making enough sense here. But either way, I don't feel that strongly about Vitra for her to be included on here. And then funny enough, if you're a newer player, I think the obvious choice here is to go with Melusine. Melusine's absolutely fucking cracked. Similar to Telemaeus, she has two modes of a single target and an AoE. AoE is on Buster and single target is on Arts. The only difference is that you can't switch. Once you lock into AoE, you're kind of stuck in AoE forever. but I think that even if you never use the third skill to switch and you stay on target for the first one, that still makes her a really good ass single target Lancer when the time is needed, and also an absolutely amazing AoE Lancer unit when that time comes up too. I have her NP2 at the moment. I think I'd probably go maybe Skahak on this one, just because this is another one where I think I've said this story before, but I have a deep personal love for Skahak. She was the reason I actually started playing Fate Grand Order way back in the day when it was only the JP version of it existed. I think my friend showed me like a design of her and I said, holy fuck, I'll play this game if there's a chance of getting her. Failed to get her on the anniversary banner, said this game is garbage, and then did not play again until the global version came out and I could finally read it, and I was finally able to get her in like a multi or two. I don't remember. It was very easy though, as I was able to get them that way, and the rest is history from that point on. So I feel like I probably... Yeah, I'm not really feeling anyone else too much on here. Obviously, if I did not already have a Rishkagal, I would go for them, but I have them NP2, so no problems on that. NP2 on my Melusane, perfectly happy with that. A lot of my other ones I have, Britomart, happy at NP level 1. I use them pretty much on that one. I really do like Bradamante. Maybe Bima would have been another pick I would have potentially looked at, but again, don't feel too strongly as compared to my girl here, Skahak. So I think I'm going to lock in and say Skahak or Lancer for it, and if you're a brand new person to this, it's Melusane. Now let's move on to Rider. I am going to acknowledge the missing Riders that I have on here, but if you know anything about me, you know who I'm picking for this one. In terms of the non-limiteds, I have I'm missing Nemo, I'm missing Europa, and I'm missing Odysseus. Obviously coming out pretty soon too. But no, no. In terms of the story locked, I have both of these story locked. And in terms of limiteds, I am missing Ivan. I am missing Semi Reigns. I am missing... I'm missing Bakken, and I'm missing Takeda Shingen. And I definitely have Andromeda, so... If you're a brand new player, which of these riders would I say? I think Reigns is a really good support unit. I kind of feel like a lot of the time she just kind of gets ignored in a lot of instances. For whatever reason, she's really good. I just think maybe it's because riders are a little bit weird when it comes to support, just because riders take up a lot of the crit stars. So if you're not able to like balance that in some kind of way, then she kind of takes up all the crit stars for a unit that you probably would prefer they to have it or something like that. But I think she ends up being really good. So I think if you're a brand new player and you're looking for a support unit, then I think Reigns is probably a good one to go. And then from there, yeah, I think that one's pretty solid. I would also say that Taigong Wong is a really good support unit, but it's another one of those cases that because he's not limited, it's going to be kind of dependent on you as a person as to whether or not you feel that strongly about Taigong. But if you felt strongly enough about Taigong, I think that'd be a pretty solid choice for that one. I also do like Ozymandias's supports as well, but he's kind of a little bit more low-key compared to the other two I mentioned. But yeah, I think Reigns is probably good if you have no idea. For me though, this is the number one locked with a bullet. It's Quetz. It's going to be Quetz every single year until I get her NP6. I currently have her NP3. If she was not story locked, this woman would already be NP6. She would have been NP6 years ago, but because she is not, it has been impossible. Quetz is maybe my number one unit in the game. You probably think it's Cuckoo because I have Cuckoo at MP level 6. It's Quetz is number 1, and then Cuckoo is number 2, and then number 3 probably Tez because of the relation to said Quetzalcoatl. I really do like Tez. Actually, there's probably some instances where I would say when I'm reading the story with Tez, I really do like his character. I really like his aesthetic and everything. There's some days where I would say like, yeah, no, he could definitely be my number 2, especially with that summer outfit, which I think is amazing. Great status on that one. I even like the little goofy stuff with the Panther stuff. Spoilers, I guess, when we get to Assassin about who I'm picking on that one. But Quetz is my number 1 unit. It doesn't matter. They could have included literally fucking God as one of the writer choices, and I would still pick Quetz. I would still go for the Sun Goddess over an actual, like, a unit that has the printed effect of you just win, dog, and I would still pick Quetz every single day of the week. That's what I mean when I say true devotion right here. The only day I will stop picking Quetz is when I finally get her NP6, which currently I'm at 3, so I need more copies. I pick her every single year on the Destiny order on this one. If I could pick her in the lucky bag for them, I would. I have a vast majority of my riders that are not limited just simply because I was going for Quetz and I picked her up instead. So I think I explained myself good enough here. My choice here is Quetz. If you're someone who's like looking for some guidance, Reigns, but of course you can pick whoever you like at the end of the day. Next on to caster. In terms of the ones I'm missing here, I'm missing Da Vinci. I have all of these, obviously. I'm missing Da Vinci. I'm missing Merlin. I'm missing Summer Nero. I'm missing Murasaki Shikabue. I'm missing Miss Crane. I'm missing Osk the Savior. And I'm missing Azuma no Akoni. Akuni? Azuma no Akuni. I have to figure that out one a little bit. Again, I'm sorry to go into my still trying to learn Japanese mode, but whenever I see a name where I'm like, how do I pronounce that correctly? I get lost in the sauce. Anyway, and I have Alice. So, this one's obvious. If you're a new player, you're literally starting to the game, pick Castoria for this one. Castoria makes the game so much easier if you have her, especially if you're a new player. Even if you're a new player and you don't have Castoria, using a friend Castoria is enough for you to go like, holy shit, this is an amazing unit. But what if I had 2 of them? So if you're brand new to the game and you need someone to pick, the answer here is very obvious. It's Castoria. And in terms of who I'm picking, I'm definitely picking Osk the Savior. The reason is that I already have my Castoria and I'm more than happy at her at MP level 1. If I was going to have a little bit of extra choices, obviously I'm a big fan of Murasaki Shikabue. We've been repping her every single day, but unfortunately I already have Shirazade at like NP level. I'm going to say she's actually 3 at this point because I just keep randomly getting her. And so whenever I need an AoE caster, I typically go for her, and if I'm not using her, I'm using Daikokuten, which is the mice that are quick AoE, but still they're very powerful because I've given them so much grails and high MP and stuff like that. The other one I would potentially look at is Alice, because I really do like Alice. I'm enjoying using her unit, and just having a little bit more power would be pretty nice. But I think in terms of like having more fun units to kind of mess around with, I probably go with Osk. If it's not her, maybe Merlin, if only because, again, Merlin, I know it's a little bit of a weird pick because Merlin, there was a point in the game where Merlin was always the go-to pick for anything caster, probably until Scotty came out, and then Scotty with the quick meta was really good, and then that lasted about, I think, a year. And then Castoria came out, and then it was absolutely insane. It was always go Castoria. And Merlin has a little bit of a debuff since he can't really be used with Oberon and stuff like that. But they have given him a buff that makes him really good at critting with busters. And you know who would be really good with buster memes? Quetz, who's the kind of go-to for that one. So for that reason alone, I would really like Merlin. This is actually a little bit tough. You know what? I will go with lock in. The other thing I have to remember is that I feel like I would never get Merlin if I picked him. This is the superstition. This has nothing to do with actual evidence. But there was one year where my brother summoned on the lucky bag for caster, and he said, please anyone but Merlin. And I said, it's going to be Merlin. And then when he got Merlin, I laughed at him really hard, and I feel like that's enough reason for Merlin to never show up for me as in terms of blowback for that. So maybe I'll just go with Ash. It's gonna be Ash. So next, so for assassin, who am I missing? So for the non-limited, that's Osaka Behime. And then for story locked, I'm missing Li Shuen. For the limited assassins, I'm missing King Asan, missing Semiramis, and I'm missing Huanzhou. Okay, so if you're a brand new player to the game and you're wondering which one of these should I pick, I would definitely go for Koyanskaya of Light, because that is the big buster support. Similar to Castoria is the big support for arts. The one that a lot of busters kind of revolved around is Koyanskaya, especially if you're looking to do looping farming and stuff like that, then Koyanskaya kind of is your girl in that instance. So if you're missing Koyanskaya, you would definitely go for Koyanskaya. But if you did have Koyanskaya already, who would you then go for afterwards? So this is gonna, my choice for this one is clear. I'm going for Tez. If I could have Tez at MP6, I would, but also I don't have that kind of cash. That's why I have to be selective in choosing. If I had the kind of cash to constantly chase MP6s, I wouldn't wait 2 years for fucking 400 tickets to go for a guaranteed SSR. But Tez is definitely one of the ones I would have NP6 if I had enough. And there would, you know, that meme that says if I had $1 million there'd be clues or something. My clue would be is that all of a sudden you would see that Tez is now NP6. So I think he's a really good support unit, especially if you're going more for the arts side. And he's also a really good AoE arts unit as well. For single target though, Hama is really fucking good, especially when we get the strengthening for her. She'll be really good once that strengthening comes in next year. Another one is King Hassan. I really like King Hassan. King Hassan just looks also super crazy badass. He's a single target assassin for it. Pretty straightforward in terms of what he wants to do. He wants to kill stuff. And that's kind of the one I would lead more towards. So for me, the choice here is obviously it's Tez. There's not really much debate in my head. If my Tez was already NP6, then next would be Kama, because then I would try and get more copies of her because she's really good. She's really good, really strong. And then if I already had Kama, it would probably go for King Hassan right next afterwards. And yeah, I think that's the basic structure of it. I'm also pretty happy with my Koyanskaya at MP level 1 because I don't really use her for DPS purposes. But if you're someone who's a little bit more interested in using her for that instance, I guess always more copies is good. But I don't think it's really super necessary for that kind of... it's not really what her main go-to for is, for me anyway. Anyway, let's move on to Berserker. So let's see, who am I missing for Berserkers? I'm missing... from the non-limiteds, it's Zwan Yu, Galatea. I'm missing from Story Locked, Kukalin Alter. From limiteds, I'm missing... Actually, I've got a vast majority of these. I'm actually only missing Sen no Rikyu. That's so funny. Wait a minute, do I really have every single one of these fucking Berserkers? I do. Okay. Damn. Okay. Damn. So who would I pick here if you were brand new to the game? This one's really tough because there's actually a lot of really good Berserker options from here, and it kind of goes depending on you at this point, I think. Summer Ibuki, absolutely amazing for AoE arts, farming and stuff like that, and she can be used in other instances and stuff like that. Mine is obviously MP level 5. She was one of the first units I did the whole saving 300 tickets for, and I was able to get her to around MP level 4, and then I did an additional multi, and then I was able to get her MP 5, and I felt pretty fucking happy about that ever since. Feel pretty fucking good about that, and she's been my trusty AoE Berserker for arts ever since then. She would obviously be NP 15 for me, or not NP 15. She'd be Bond 15 for me at this point if Cuckoo did not exist. Really fucking good. Morgan is also really good. Really good supportive unit. She can sometimes be a little bit lacking in damage, but as someone who also has Morgan, I actually would really like her at MP level 2 for that reason alone, to give her a little bit more firepower, so you can use her more in a team that just kind of uses all base units to just kind of like hit people with. And then finally we have Summer Castoria, who's also really fucking good, and she's really good for single target arts units, kind of the thing you'd want to go for Castoria. I have occasionally run into the issue at MP level 1 where sometimes she doesn't kill, but for the most part she's always been able to kill stuff when I've asked her to do it for me. But if I wanted to have more damage in her, she would also be a really solid choice from here. And then in terms of some other choices, I really like Arjuna Alter. I really like Raiko here. I like Kintoki, as well as the golden child of hit hard single target, super easy to use. I also have a soft spot for Hijikata, the pickle man himself. Love him, because similar to Takatsuji, also based off of the real historical figure character who's also in Gintama. So I really like him for that reason alone. And then later on, he's going to get his Shinsengumi outfit as well, which I'm looking forward to that when that happens. But I'm okay with him at my current MP level, which is MP level 2. So for a newer player, I think the choice is typically between Morgan, Summer Ibuki, and Summer Kastori, and it's kind of depending on what you need. If you're looking for a good AoE buster, it would definitely be Morgan. If you're looking one for arts, it would be Ibuki. If you're looking for a single target, I would go for Castoria. Oh, I forgot to mention her, Sen no Rikyu. So even though I'm not picking her, the reason is that even though she's really good in our version of the game right now, there is a unit that's coming out eventually. Let me see if I can pull her up real quick. Give me a sec. Here she is, Louis. So eventually Louis, which is going to be for our Christmas event this year, she is a Berserker that is also an AoE quick unit, that is also really fucking good and not limited. Like, I'm planning to summon on this servant even though she's not limited, because that's just how fucking good she is. And unfortunately it kind of replaces Senori, as her like current place is a really good quick Berserker. She would kind of be the go-to if we did not have the knowledge that Louis was coming later this year. Near the end of the year and stuff like that. But that's definitely a choice for a potential pick there if you like them. Arjuna Altar, as I mentioned already, is really good. So yeah, there's a lot of good options here, honestly. It just kind of all depends on what your kind of flavor of what you're going for. Even for AoE Buster, like I mentioned, Morgan is really good for the support wise, but if you're looking for someone who does more damage, it's Arjuna Altar. But I've also seen a couple people say that Arjuna Altar does not hit as hard as he did in the past, which I guess is fair enough, I suppose. You know, fair enough. I haven't really used them all that much compared to the other ones, but that's because he's at MP level 1 compared to MP level 5ers, and it's not really fair to compare MP level 5 Berserkers to MP level 1s. It's just not a fair comparison at all. Anyway, my pick right there is going to end up being yes, Morgan in this instance. Okay, going on to extra one. So for the non-limiteds, I'm missing Naito Altar, Marie Antoinette Altar is another one that I'm missing for the story locked, and then for limiteds, this one's going to be a little bit of a wider one. I'm missing Amakasu Shiro, I'm missing Sherlock Holmes, I'm missing Shi Huandi, I'm missing Karen, I'm missing Summer Melu, I'm missing Kenshin, I'm missing Jolter, I'm missing Demon King Nobunaga, I'm missing Ushigozen, I'm missing Archetype Earth. Yeah, so this one's going to be one of the ones where it's going to be a little bit dependent on me. So this is one of the few times I'm going to have to mention it because it's all the way back here. So on the lucky bag for this year, again, I am going to cover this eventually. This will be coming later on in the week, so I guess look forward to that, hopefully, unless something at work fucks me completely up and I'm not able to record it in time. But the main thing that I'm going for is that I'm going to be going for this Borderless Pavilion 2, because this one has Alice, this one has Ushigozen, and it also has Aoko. So that way I'm guaranteed one of these three. The worst one would be getting another dupe of Alice, but that's okay because she just gets a little bit more powerful. But I really want Ushigozen, and I also really want Aoko. So that would be kind of like killing two birds with one stone. And so that kind of like, this is where the part of the Destiny Order kind of messes up, because I really want Marie Antoinette Altar as well. So it's kind of between Ushigozen and Marie Antoinette Altar. I would actually really like Nidocris Altar as well, but another thing to take note of is, let me quickly pull this up again. Okay, pulling up something from the future because it's gonna matter. So in October for us this year, likely, no, actually probably it's gonna be closer to near the end of September based off of some other stuff. Either near the end of September or early October, we're gonna get the 30 million downloads campaign. And in the 30 million downloads campaign, we get to pick one of these units as a selector for a 5-star. And I just remembered Quetz is on this, so actually I take that back about Naito Altar. Nido Alter would be one of the ones I would potentially pick here, but then I forgot that I'm using this to get my quest to MP level 4. But this is something to keep in mind of if you're someone who actually super cares a lot about. I should have mentioned this with the whole Karna thing with the sandwich, but I got so distracted by the sandwich. I'm mentioning it now though, so at least there's that this is coming later in the year. So if there's a non-limited that you badly want, it's probably better to wait for later on in the year and kind of use them that way. Oops, should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. It's okay, maybe I'll include something that will be like at this specific moment. I don't mention this until later into the video, but this is something to keep in mind. But anyway, moving back to this, depending on my result of my lucky bag, I'm either going to get Ushigozen. If I get her, then I think I'm going to probably go for Marie Antoinette Altar instead. But if I don't get her, then I'm going to stay on here and go for Ushigozen on this one. In terms of a new player, which one I think you should probably get is probably... In terms of support units, I really like Summer Scotty for this one. She's kind of the go-to support for Quick. Now, the one thing that makes it a little bit tough is that Quick requires a lot more, like, I don't want to say specifically time and energy, but I guess it is time and energy. It's harder to set up a good Quick teams compared to Buster and Arts, with Arts being the #1 easiest in the world to set stuff up. That's number one. Number two is Buster, just because Buster units need specific requirements of, as long as you have a unit that can get their skills back within 5 turns, and they also bring back 30% of their NP, that they're able to be used with Koyanskaya for the basic bread and butter loops of 2 Koyanskayas and an Oberon and stuff like that. But it does require Oberon to be used with them and stuff like that, so not the great. So it's a little bit of a wayside. And then finally, Quick is at number 3, for the reason being is that some Quick units just have really tough times doing the actual loop thing, so they require a lot of time and energy. Even if you have their full skills maxed out at 10, it can still be really tough unless you're using some more additional outside assistance and stuff like that. Not to say that's every Quick unit, but it's enough Quick units that it's enough to be warranted. But that's kind of the one I would say to kind of go for. Another one that is dependent really on you is that Archetype Earth can be one of the best grind units in the game, but it requires significant NP investment, like such an insane amount of investment on them. I think it's at minimum NP3, but you really want NP5 to guarantee that you're always able to do it. So if you're someone who has Archetype Earth and you're slowly starting to build her up to NP5, I think that's probably a pretty solid pick here, is just keep picking Archetype Earth. But if you're a newer player, I guess Ruler Scotty, and then kind of go for whoever you like from elsewhere if you don't. This is another tough one just because Extra 1 includes so many units that people would like because they're fan favorites. Like, there's so many summer units in here. I'm dying. I've been recording too long. Like Summer Melusane and Summer Kama and Summer BB and stuff like that. And we're getting another Summer BB as well. Space Ishtar, which is, she's fallen off a little bit compared to previous times, but she's still, I think, a decent enough unit, just not as hard-hitting as she was back in the day and stuff like that. I also really like the Count of Monte Cristo as a personal side note and stuff like that. Summer Kiara is also pretty solid, I would say, similar to though some of her kit has also aged a little bit. I think there was a time where I would say she would probably have been on par with them, but I think time has been less kind to her kit compared to Summer Kama. But maybe that should be my own personal bias. And there was also one guy I remember many years ago who yelled at me for not giving enough respect for Summer Karen. Not for Summer Karen, for regular Karen. So I'll also mention her there. But anyway, that's kind of the basic of it. If you were just gonna tell me, gun to my head, pick one of these for which one I pick, I'd probably pick Summer Skahawk. And if you already had Summer Scotty, then I guess pull the trigger at that point, bro. There's too many options. Just pick for yourself at that point. And then finally we get to Extra 2. There are no non-limiteds in Extra 2. For Story Locked, we have Satonia. I only have them, but I already have them. But in terms of the ones I'm missing from here, I'm missing Bazette, I'm missing Domin, I'm missing Rasputin, I'm missing Azuma no Asura, Hibiki, and Chikagi. I'm missing Hokusai, I'm missing, let me see. Am I missing? Yeah, I'm definitely missing Jacques de Molay. I'm missing Koyanskaya of Darkness, which is different from the light version. I'm missing Wanjina. I'm missing Aoko. And that's it. And then this one is very important to note. Draco is here. So Draco is not in the lucky bag. You can only get Draco in the 30 premium sync quartz GSSR, which is the one we're doing right here. The reason is that Nasu has explained that it's like in lore, which is I think a bullshit way of him just saying like, hey, we don't want you to spend 15 quartz to get him easily. But in lore, the idea is that they want it to be that you summon for the beast. They don't want the beast to just randomly show up at your house or something. So if you pick Lucky Bag, it's kind of like saying, I'm not really calling for you. I'm just like kind of like shaking a bag and seeing what comes out. But Destiny Order is you specifically calling for them. So it's okay. Which again, I guess in a lore way kind of makes sense. I don't know. I think it's a bunch of bullshit and for the most part. That's just their way of justifying not putting a beast unit on the 15 Saint Quartz, but whatever. I've made my bones about this for years. I've never liked that decision. Now, in terms of which one of these you should pick, I think even with my no, it has to be. I would say it would have to be Oberon. Oberon is absolutely an amazing support unit. If you were asking me what are the support units to get, number 1 is Castoria, number 2 is Oberon, number 3 is Koyanskaya of Light, and then Scotty would be the next one after that. And then after that, it's kind of like a mishmash of which various supports in terms of what you are personally looking for. I think Oberon is the easiest unit in the world to suggest if you're brand new to the game. Just like, yeah, get Oberon. He'll help you regardless of anything. Even if you only have Oberon and no other supports, which is not ideal, I think Oberon is still a really solid ass unit to have in your pocket. And then if you already have Oberon, next I would say it's between Cuckoo and Draco. Draco is really... So here's the funny thing. And someone noted this in the comments, and ever since then, it did give me a chuckle. Beast units are supposed to be extremely rare. Like, some of the rarest in the game. That's what they wanted with it, the idea of like, oh no, they're very rarely gonna ever come up. The problem is as they've released the banner for Draco every year. A unit is not... If they release a banner for a unit every year, they're no different from any of the other limited service. I'm making myself die here. They're really no different at that point. So I think Draco is still, who knows, maybe on Japan this is the year. I think they've already brought back Draco this year. I don't know, actually. I would have to look it up for specificness. But in theory, the beast units are supposed to be the rarest just because you can't get them from lucky bags and such. So if you really cared about Draco, I would say probably going for Draco in this instance. If you were gonna ask me, hey Wokey, which one of the two would you pick, it would likely be Cuckoo next for me personally. But Draco is an extremely amazing unit as well. I just have always been... I just can't stop. It's obvious that I have a bias towards Cuckoo. Like I said, sometimes second favorite, sometimes third favorite character in the game. Mine has never disappointed me in any kind of capacity. I even have an additional copy that I've been debating getting to level 90 and 1010ing their skills, specifically so I can do some showcases with her at MP level 1 and show that she's still really good even at MP level 1. It's just that I don't think I have the materials enough to justify it. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Oberon if you're brand new, and then if you already have Oberon, it's a tie between Cuckoo and Draco. Kind of who do you care about more? I'm with my personal thinking is I would lean more towards Cuckoo, but others would obviously probably go for Draco. It's also really tough because one's a single target and the other's an AoE. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's comparing apples and oranges at this point. Both of them can be good, but for completely different reasons. And if you tried to use the logic of why this one is good and say to the other one, like, oh, it has the inner orange is so soft. It's like, well, apples aren't meant to be soft. They're supposed to be a little bit hard with having us with that hard outer shell and stuff like that. Anyway, for me personally, who am I picking? Well, obviously, I just mentioned how rare Draco is, so the obvious answer here is, of course, I'm going For my girl, Super Bunyan. This is another one where it's like, yeah, I didn't even really mention Super Bunyan all that much. I'm a big fan of Super Bunyan. If Super Bunyan has no more fans, it means that both me and my brother are likely dead. the real. We are the two hardest Super Bunyan fans that you will find out there in the world. I will always support her. I will say the people who talk shit about her are completely wrong. I love my girl. I will defend her to the day I die. If my Cuckoo was not MP level 6, obviously I would be picking Cuckoo for mine, but mine is MP level 6 and she felt my love for Super Bunyan.
When they announced Super Bunyan was getting a special grand art variant at the current JP anniversary, me and my brother, we saw it and we spent the next 10 minutes looking for her ears.
That's true. That's real. That's passion that you can't find. So my pick for this one is definitely going to be Super Bunyan. I understand, just because there's also, if it was not for my love for Super Bunyan, another choice here would probably be Bazette, because I'm missing Bazette, and Bazette is an amazing unit. But there's actually a lot of really good choices here. Even if I go beyond, like, hey, if you're a new person, there's actually like Tiamat. Larva Tiamat is really good. Doman is really good. I really like Melt. She's really good. I think Rasputin's a funny unit that can constantly be brought back from the dead, and I think that's pretty good. Alco is obviously also really fun to use. Another good, really good support unit is Lady Avalon, who's also really amazing. Van Gogh, an absolutely banger support unit as well. I really wish that it was a little bit. I wish there was a way that I could sacrifice some of these other servants and say, like, I don't really need a Saber. Maybe I could substitute one of these in there and put them in there. I feel like I would be a little bit happier if I could build it that way, but obviously it's not built that way. But I have to, it makes it a little bit hard to pick. But for this one, I'm gonna go Super Bunyan. So we're at the end here, so let me just do a quick rundown of my choices here. For Saber, it's Yamato. For Archer, it is Telemeos. For Lancer, it is Skahak. For Rider, it's Quetz. For Caster, it is going to be us, the Savior. For Assassin, it's Tez. For Berserker, it's going to be Morgan. For Extra 1, it's going to be Ushi-Gozen with a potential swap in for Marie Antoinette Alter if I'm able to pull Ushi-Gozen. And then for Extra 2, we've got Super Bunyan. And that's how my Destiny order is going to look like. And that's why I'm going to lock in, and we're going to see when Anniversary comes around how it's going to go. This is going to be really funny, because for Anniversary, which is going to be, we always tie it in with the first summon campaign, which is going to be Space Irish Kagall. And I do have about 400 tickets. I don't know if I'm going to use all 400 on Space Irish Kagall, but I am going to at least use 300 tickets, just like I did for Summer Ibuki. We'll see if I'm able to get her to a decent NP level. With Summer Ibuki, I was able to get her to MP level 4, so I'd be really happy if I could get the similar thing, but you never know when it comes to FGO a lot of the times. But that's the end of the video, everyone. Hopefully this was of some help. I know it's a little bit weird when I talk about Destiny Order, just because, again, I really do feel like Destiny Order is supposed to be something you make that should be unique to you, but I also understand there's a lot of people who need some help. So I try and help in some kind of instances, trying to say, like, here, let me give you a little bit of some advice, and then let me show you what I'm doing to show you specifically. There's instances where there were some times, like with Saber, I did pick the unit that I said would be a pretty good one to pick for this slot. But then there's other times where I'm like looking at saying, like, oh yeah, this would be the definitive kind of go-to for that one, and then let me tell you why I'm not picking that one, why I instead am going for more this direction over some of the more wide varied choices on the list of people and stuff like that. Like, especially for this one, as I said before, this one's the most obvious of it, picking Super Bunyan over characters that have traditionally been considered either stronger or more interesting in terms of the design and stuff like that, and I still went with the girl that I went with, because it's what my heart says is right. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I've almost lost my voice completely, but that's okay. It should be back in time for when I have to do the other Lucky Bag summons. And I don't forget, those videos are usually 3-0s. I do a long-ass video, a medium-sized 10-minute video, and then I do a short on the day of release. So that's fun to look forward to. And yeah, and then in terms of Anime Expo stuff, my brother's gonna be going there on Sunday. So I think I said last year, after the fact, I said, hey, my brother was at Anime Expo, and they said, I really wish you had said so beforehand, because we would have really liked to have like seen him. And I'm like, well, I don't know if you would have been able to find him, but now you know. On the 4th, my brother's gonna be around. You can find him over at the FGO booth, which I've asked him to go check out and to record videos to figure out, do some live reporting from there. And if he's not there, he'll probably be on the HoloLive side to check out the new card game stuff. And if he's not there, where else do you plan to go on Anime Expo?
You go to HoloLive, go to Bushy Road.
You go to Bushy Road? Okay, my bad. Don't go to HoloLive, go to Bushy Road. And then what's the other one? What do you have an idea of what you're going for on Sunday, or are you just kind of looking around?
Be observing the Big Jade of the Honkai Star Rail.
There you go. Find him at the Big Jade at the Honkai Star Rail booth. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Best of luck to you guys as we get ready for the anniversary. Say goodbye, boy.
Goodbye.
Peace out.